Now, the construction of an ultra-modern cement manufacturing plant to produce about 1 million tons of cement is expected in March 2018. This is expected to boost production and supply of cement for consumers in the country, as well as generate competitive pricing and enhancing competition in the market. Joy Business's Ebenezer Sabute has been engaging managers of the new cement company Supercell Ghana Limited and has filed this report.
With the vision of being the premium brand providing the most valuable cement-related solutions to Ghanaian builders by 2020, Supercell promises to deliver quality products for the Ghanaian market. The company currently imports finished cement from Nigeria, a situation which will end by next year when work on its manufacturing plant is completed. Managing Director Frederick Abret has been explaining the rationale.
So we decided together that it would be a good opportunity to come and to set up in Ghana. We see a need as well as construction is changing, and there is more and more needs for quality cement, best practice in the industry. So therefore we think we have our way to pave into the Ghanaian market. That's the reason why we came to Ghana. Ghana is only at the beginning of its needs. The consumption per capita in Ghana is still one of the highest in West Africa, with 200 kilo per capita, but it's still far less than what we can observe in North African countries. Therefore, there is still a good way for development. This factory is here and is set up for the next 50 years, 100 years. So we are here for a long period. We are believing in this country. We are believing in the development of the country, and that's why we think we have our way into the Ghanaian market, and we can bring a plus to the market.
When we come to local consumption, local content, i.e. materials or even the people you employ, what is the plan? At what rate can we say this company have been when it comes to the people they employ, maybe 60, 70, when it comes to the materials, the raw materials they are going to use in producing the cement, 60, 70, or what was the plan?
Let's say, in generally speaking, it's much more affordable and it's making us much more competitive to source all our raw material locally. Unfortunately, there is no manufacturing of clinker in the country. Therefore, we will still be relying on an importation part. But of course, all the additives that we will be able to source locally, we will be willing to source it for various reasons. First is also a cost. It will be much less expensive to source locally a product than to import it. And also, regarding the employments, we are looking at sourcing. You have a lot of education in Ghana is very good. You have a lot of very qualified workers, a lot of very qualified people which can be used. So we are looking at having 95% of local people working for us.
What will this mean to consumers and the general public? Kobe Adams is the commercial director at Super.
I think it's extremely important to the cement market in Ghana for one very big reason, which is the quality that we bring to the market. Now, I mentioned a stat that we've done some research on earlier, which is that we've talked to several hundred masons since we started our operation about 4 months ago, and the numbers are pretty clear. About 55% of masons say that the Supercell cement they've used is superior to anything that they've experienced prior to using it.
With a reliable infrastructure, Supercell says it is poised to deliver on its promise of providing the most quality cement for the construction industry. Of course, this does not come easily without a significant investment. Let's hear from the project leader, Abderrahim Ohab.
The availability of the network of the power here in Tema, in the free zone, is 99%. For the moment, we have the temporary connection, and we haven't any shutdown of this. For the backup, we have the power plant equipped with 3 generators. Each one is 6 kVA. 600 kVA. In totally, we have 1,600 kVA.
Even though located within the Free Zones enclave, the company is not operating under the Ghana Free Zones law. So in a couple of months, we are going to have this huge plant being commissioned here. And basically what it means is that more cement into the market, more quality cement products into the market. Ask me the meaning of this. It means the prices are going to change, the quality is also going to change, because this plant is going to give us about 600 to 700,000 tons of cement annually. And that's a huge quantity if you ask me. Why this? This is an investment by a Ghanaian Supercell, CBI Ghana Limited. They are going to be producing locally. They are going to produce for only the Ghanaian market. Currently, they import from Nigeria, but in a couple of months, they are going to produce everything here in Ghana. This means we are focusing on local content. The people here are locals. The workers here are locals, 90%. And I can assure you, everything is local. This is time to purchase local goods. This is time to focus on buying local materials for your building, for infrastructure, and any other service that you'll be doing with cement. From the Free Zones Enclave here at Tema, I'm Ebenezer Sabute for Joy Business.
Now, the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) is prevailing on LPG marketers to rather strategize to tap into the investment opportunities the new distribution model presents. This is in response to outstanding concerns expressed by LPG marketing companies against the new recirculation policy. Officials from the Energy Ministry and the authority yesterday met the operators in a bid to allay their fears of possible job losses from implementation of the policy. Now, Chief Executive of the authority, Hassan Tampoli, explains to Joy Business the policy rather holds mutual benefits for both government and the operators.
Time and again, that the LPG marketing companies are the fulcrum around which the retail and distribution of this new policy is going to be implemented. And they also have additional opportunity to invest in the LPG bottling plants if they are able to pull their resources together, which is the case in some countries around the world. So if they are able to put their resources together, they are able to pick up a license, and then they can supply to their own marketing companies. So we've engaged them every step of the way. The Ministry of Energy has always been engaging them. At the first implementation committee meeting, the LPG Marketing Companies Association was represented by Kumi. Gabriel Kumi was representing them, and then Togbi Adaku, the fifth, represented Ghana LPG Marketers Association, Glebcoa. And then the LPG Drivers Association was also represented, and they also came with their lawyer, even though they were entitled to come with one representative. They showed up.
Turning to revenue matters, and the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, is stepping up efforts to rake in more revenue for government at the country's ports with just a few days to the end of the year. The authority says it is on course to achieving its revenue target for the year despite the removal of several nuisance taxes in the 2017 budget. Chief Revenue Officer in charge of operations at the GRA, Fetchin Akoto, says special measures have been instituted to boost revenue this festive season towards achieving the ultimate goal.
According to the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, special measures have been instituted to boost revenue this festive season towards meeting the ultimate goal. This is to ensure that during the season, government takes advantage of the brisk business activities to take in more revenue. Chief Revenue Officer in charge of operations at the GRA, Fetchin Akoto, explains to Joy Business in an interview.
We're only acting on intelligence, but that doesn't mean that the notorious ones don't want to take advantage of the removal of the barriers. But we just wish to tell them that we are very much alert. Our patrol teams are on site, and they are acting on the intelligence, and they are making very significant arrests on our road, and it's been very significant.
With this significant movement or jump in business activities during this time, is it going to have any impact on revenue generation for the year or something?
Surely, and every year around this time, that's why we don't even allow our officers to go and leave. This is where we mobilize, we maximize our collection in order to meet our target, especially when we seem to be lacking, or even You know, there's a lot more inflow of imports for Christmas celebration, and we'll have to be there hand in hand to attend to people who want to get their goods out of the ports. So surely the activities increase, revenue mobilization also increases.
He also disclosed some strategies employed by the GRA in meeting the needs of traders and businesses along the borders.
And you know, because we know that at the end of the year, the activities are very brisk, we mobilize our officers, we put them on edge to be ready to attend to our clients. And as a policy of the authority, when it is getting to the end of the year, we don't even allow our officers to take their leave. They have to stay around and work for us to mop up whatever we have to do to meet our target. So everybody is at post and attending to all that we have to attend to, as usual.
The GRA says Aflao border is set to record the highest rate of business activities during the season.
Well, so what is it about Christmas that often sees some people, if not all of us, lose our heads when it comes to prudently managing our finances? Well, most of us end up seriously broke in the first week of January, and well, George Affair has been trying to figure out some answers in this special report.
Happened to me 2015, and it's like we blow all the money during December because work was coming, and after Christmas from 5th, and you know, January is like a whole year, from 1st to 31st. All your money is gone. So that moment, I've felt that moment before. I've learned from my mistakes, and so this year I'm preparing towards the new year.
A situation where you would want to give out gifts to your friends, your relatives, you know. So at the end of the day, if you don't budget well, you are going to end up being in hardship in January.
Those are some individuals caught up in what has been described as the early January financial crisis. Well, it looks like it is not everyone who is caught up in this trap. Let's listen to this gentleman.
I do budget for everything. So I portion money where it is due. So no matter what I do is, I know my kids will be coming home from school. Next year, early next year, they'll be opening school, and I have to pay school fees. So any money that I have to manage it well so that I'll not find myself in a difficult situation.
So should firms look at staggering the December salaries to help address this problem? That's the question I posed to Professor Mponsa, an HR consultant and organizational behavior lecturer at the University of Ghana.
For me, deciding for employees how to use their resources is something that I don't endorse. I wouldn't even sit here for my employees at the University of Ghana to decide for me when to use my resources. So I think that what the employee himself should be well informed. I think he knowing his expenditure, he knowing the demand on his salary, I think making some projections and savings.
Well, let's take these concerns to financial consultant Charles Mensah on how to get around the situation.
Just stay how you are, how your lifestyle is, and ensure that you are sticking into your budget. Hopefully, if you yourself was practicing budgeting, then you know that the income that is accruing to you on the monthly basis, this is what you would spend out of. What then tends to happen is that people feel that, okay, this is Christmas, I have to spend. But you cannot spend what you have not earned. And immediately you borrow to go and spend to enjoy yourself. That means that you are creating a future liability for yourself.
Yes! Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, presents the Roverman Festival of Plays.
These are some of the programs that will be going on this Christmas. But the advice here is that try and spend wisely during this festive season.
Holiday. It's a holiday.
And I know some people who have already squandered their salary, so that is a word to the wise. You're talking about Christmas, and we can't talk about Christmas and not talk about rice, because it's that season again, and we're going to see an increase in the purchase of the staple rice. And well, that's going to happen nationwide, but unfortunately, this is not the case with right now, because significantly in Ghana, we are importing lots of rice, and there still is a gap, a very big one, for local producers to fill, especially when it comes to patronizing made in Ghana products. Charles Aite has been exploring the rice business during the Yuletide.
In this holiday season, one of the major staples that many Ghanaians across the country are going to be cashing into, both customers and of course that of buyers, is that of rice. Rice, and of course its consumption in Ghana, is one of the highest across the West African region. By the midst of this high demand for rice, there comes the question about the consumption of locally produced rice here in the country. Ghana is currently facing the challenge of cutting down on the country's rice imports as efforts are being made to focus on production locally. Statistics indicate that a total of about 754,000 metric tons of rice was imported into the country in 2015 and 16 alone. It is believed that the numbers might even be higher because of smuggling, which is not accounted for. So what is the current situation on the ground, especially in this holiday season? Some rice dealers told Joy Business that local rice is virtually not available on the market now because of consumer preference for imported brands.
It's expensive, and most people do want the popular rice.
So that's why you don't even want to sell local rice?
Yeah.
Right, so do you sell local rice in this very shop?
No, we don't. We don't sell local rice.
And what's the main reason for that?
Okay, I don't know, but I think the customers don't prefer that one. No, we have, a particular customer base, and then they have particular rice they buy, so we don't normally sell rice that don't sell. Do you understand? Yeah, that is why we don't have local rice here.
We also caught up with some consumers who shared their views on whether or not they prefer local rice to imported ones.
For me, I prefer the local rice because the foreign rice, I don't see any taste of the foreign rice, but the local rice, the taste is okay.
Do you prefer local rice to the foreign one?
Okay, actually, I have not taken local rice before, so I don't know. But to my perspective, I think local rice will also be okay, but because of low patronage of these locally made products and how it is even packaged and how it is even marketed, people don't fancy. But you see this foreign rice always on our TVs, and we have the samples around too. So I think if local rice, they rebrand and then repackage and do everything like that, people will start buying it. And the price too, this foreign rice, they have a way of making the rice more, priceable for people to buy. But local rice, maybe sometimes it's more costly.
Oh, I like foreign rice.
Why?
Oh, because that one is very nice.
So why don't you like local?
Oh, the local rice now is not in the system, and they don't buy that one. So everyone wants the foreign rice. So we too, we like the foreign rice.
So when you're going out to buy rice, what do you look out for, local or foreign?
Oh, the foreign one. Perfume rice, that one there.
Joy Business later interacted with the head of marketing at Wenko Ghana Limited, a leading producer of local rice in Ghana. Dominic Duku shares a different opinion about the low patronage of local rice. According to him, his company has been overwhelmed with high demands by customers this holiday season.
Yes, indeed. There was a perception of produce in Ghana being of low quality in terms of the color, and sometimes you have stones in them. But now the modern machinery that Wenko Ghana has brought, and you realize that the standard is at par with what's imported. So we're producing high quality. So after people have tried, they now realize that, well, indeed, it's good to stick to made in Ghana.
Some of the existing challenges faced by local rice producers include poor packaging or bagging, the high cost of products, among others. But Dominic Duku believes much has changed in the past years.
The packaging is one of the key issues here, and you're right. If you look at the imported rice that we see, the packaging, it follows one trend. And Wenko Ghana and Aduane Hene and copper rice, if you look at our packaging, it's premium. A lot more of produce in Ghana, a lot more people too are coming on board and following our footsteps in terms of how they should present it in the market.
Government may have to step up efforts in addressing these challenges in the Planting for Food and Jobs program. For Joy Business, Charles Aite reporting.
All right, you're watching Business Live. Time to bring you our interview of the day. We've been finding out how feasible the One District, One Factory initiative is in Zongo areas. My colleague Sheila Tamaklo has been engaging the Minister for Zongo and Inner City Development, that is Alhaji Abubakar Sadiq Boniface.
Interview of the day.
It's a good concept, but you don't just move into a community and say, I'm coming to eject you. We are not in a revolutionary era where you take military or some forces to go and start pulling down people's houses. No, we must come to an understanding. And then if they agree, we then know the parcel of land. You can start. There are, if you go now, most of the stores along the road, Nima, these are some of the policies. It's not government policy, but local arrangement. You have somebody come from outside, they lease out the house, he builds a very good house, the frontage is turned into stores, and then he builds an extension behind where people live in, and there are stories. So all these things are things that we are going to study into. They are part of our programs, and I believe when we start and we begin to sell out that idea, people will buy into it. We are not going to force you. It is only when you buy into that idea that we can translate it into reality.
It's true we want to make them buy into the idea and all that, but what are your plans? Okay, besides that, what is actually going to be the way forward? Because it is really a huge issue. We were there, myself and Fozia here, to look at the community, and it was a huge issue because I remember speaking to one of the chief and asked, One District, One Factory, One Constituency, 1 million. How are you going to put it in? And they're like, well, if you look around us, there's no way you can put up a factory here. So it's a fact that there is a problem there, really. So with the One District, One Factory and all, should you go to them and there's a challenge, how exactly do we intend to go about it? I believe you have a plan somewhere.
Well, definitely there's a plan, but taking the case of some of the communities, we need to decongest. But in doing so, you must do that with recourse to the people's rights. That's most important. 2, we are talking of sanitation enhancement. We must find ways and means of making that place more attractive, 3, you must also make sure that as you do, you take the people into consideration. We have what we call the alley pavements or alleyways. In between houses, we cement them so that no dust. When it rains, you don't find mud. These are all things that we intend doing. When you go to some parts of Nima, they have this sort of concepts. Apart from that, we want to introduce another system where you can pipe the household water, the wastewater, into the main drain.
Interview of the day.
And that's it for our program tonight. You can always catch up on the latest business news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We've got all the day's stories there for you, including videos just in case you missed out on any of our bulletins. That's it for Business Live. Thanks for watching.